best is yet to come, and babe, won't that be fine?
All of us out at the Denver Fire Academy have been concerned about when we teach things out here on the drill ground and then the recruits get to the firehouse, there may be things that we are teaching that are not necessarily standard in the firehouse. The purpose of us doing this film is to give the firehouses a chance to see some of the stuff we're teaching. We really want to emphasize that we're not telling the company officers when these guys and girls get in the firehouse that you no longer are teaching your skills and your way of doing things. It just provides the officer a camera view of how we teach certain evolutions. The Denver Fire Department has been using loop systems on our 1 3/4 probably since the 50s, probably ever since we started getting engines with pre-connected hand lines. Over time, I'd say probably 20 years ago, some of the companies started incorporating loop systems into our 2.5 static fire attack line. Probably 5 or 6 years ago, some of the companies thought these loop systems work so well for pre-connects and static 2.5 fire attack. Why not incorporate loop systems into the 3-inch supply line? Whether you have just one bed of it like the 5-inch companies, or you actually have 2 beds of it. So what these guys will do will load a full 250 feet of loops. Obviously the center of the hose bed is where you start with your 200. Now for these loops, they're advantageous for a variety of evolutions. However, what's critical in terms of these loop systems is knowing exactly where your couplings lie. And we'll go more into that as we actually start demonstrating some of these evolutions. But for now, we're going to have firefighter Matt Scanlon explain the purpose and where these couplings should go.
This is the 200 mark here. Load it all the way back, stacking on itself. All these are just going to stack on top of each other. Here comes our coupling. We're going to put it about midway on top of that stack. Another loop. Stacking again. And we're going to repeat what we just did. Now, since this isn't working out quite right, I'm going to pull this back and put that coupling just a little bit in front of this coupling so that this isn't going by it and getting caught.
Matt, how important is it that the coupling not flip over?
The coupling should never flip. It'll get caught on this and mess up your layup. So this is third stack. Going to do the same thing. Go back a little. This one's going to stagger just in front of that. Now I know where all the couplings are. When I pull these loops down, they're going to be on top of my load. Last one. And I'll be able to break them if I need, or just pull it like a regular 3-inch stack.
One of the first big advantages to the loop system on your supply hose is when connecting to a fire department connection. Firefighter Scanlon is going to demonstrate how this can be significantly faster and more efficient. So the first thing he's going to do is disconnect the supply hose from the humid. He will then immediately hook it to a rear discharge. It's interesting to note that when doing it this fashion, absolutely no adapters are necessary. Once he's connected that, he's going to take his first 50-foot loop and pull it out. Now notice how that coupling lands right in his hands. He'll pull that loop out the rest of the way and just give it a toss. He breaks his connection and gives the male end of the 3-inch a little toss. Then he moves to his other hose bit. He immediately hooks his 3-inch female coupling to the discharge gate. He will then pull his loop, so that coupling, notice how that coupling falls right into his hands. There's no confusion, and that's the importance of getting those couplings about midship of your hose bed and on top of the previous loop. At this point, he grabs his spanners, his 2 male ends, it's important, and we emphasize this in the instruction of the recruits, is to not only use those spanners to take your caps off, but to check to make sure there's no tennis balls or hypodermic needles. Once that's done, all he has left to do is make the male connection to the fire department connection. Sixth edition of ISTA has changed their wording in terms of a very simple thing. Now ISTA recommends, mandates, whatever, that you keep your 3-inch supply hose pre-connected to the human. Now you as officers, if you choose to not do it that way, that's fine. But in the academy, the new recruits are taught to keep that hose connected to the human. So, Mike Aragon now, Lieutenant Aragon, and after he demonstrated it to me, I found a couple of really positive things to what he was instructing me on. And it is simply, instead of hooking, you can show me, instead of hooking the human up from this side of the hydrant, instead you come behind it and hook it up from this side of the hydrant. I found 2 very big advantages to this. First, when you're doing it this way, your back is to traffic. You have no visibility of all the things that can go bad for you. Lots of times you're stepping on the curb, twisting your ankle, whereas if you come from behind, you have all clear visibility of any hazards that might want to take you down. Plus, most of us find that leaning over the hydrant allows you to find that sweet spot in the human to spin it on quickly. Another advantage to the loops is if you find yourself in a position where your rig is a little bit further distance from the hydrant, you have that extra 50 available. It's important that we teach them to get that strap underneath the caps. She's checking her caps. We also like to encourage the recruits to always, as soon as they get that cap untightened, to put that hydrant wrench on top of the hydrant so it's ready to go. She takes her strap off so it's out of the way. All good to go. She gets her loop out of the way so we don't have any kinks, and then charges the hydrant. So now we got to do water. So we use water. All around. Well, this is it's so hard to get these. Nice, nice. Okay, you want to demonstrate it?
Sure.
Okay.
Action.
Thing we teach the recruits is anytime, whether you're deploying 2.5-inch static fire attack hose or you're deploying 1 3/4 inch, we highly recommend and teach this and stress it significantly that when you pull this nozzle section, you give it a flip over the arm. Go ahead. Okay, walk out a little ways, Brandon. Now you'll see, as opposed to the other way, when this hose becomes tight, go ahead and walk. Blaze off. Keep going. Blaze off. Blaze off. And guess what you end up with?
Alright, so we're going to demonstrate the old way of doing the nozzle as it gets caught up on your shoulder because it's not flipped. That's on the shoulder. Normally we stop at the side of the building and your nozzleman comes up and throws your line. So then your nozzle goes everywhere, becomes a spaghetti mess, and now you're going in. Now the first thing that's going to happen when they give him water, he's going to end up having to make, if he has to make a corner at the right there, you're going to have a 90-degree turn and you're going to have a friction point there.
Demonstrate the friction point.
So if he has to make that turn,
there you go.
Now he has a friction point right here.
Right.
The other thing with being lined up on this side of the building, we always taught him that that was your area of safe egress. You're always working in a team with your engine crew and your truck crew. As the truck crew's forcing the door, you're unable to protect them on the side of the building like you should. Also, the other thing is you lose your situational awareness. Next, we'll show you to demonstrate the new way of how we're teaching recruits and how we feel like it should be done for engine companies taking a charged hose line into a building. All right, now we're going to demonstrate the new way we're teaching out here. Again, pulling the line, making that flip, and carrying it onto your arm so it doesn't get cut off in your breathing apparatus. Nozzleman comes up to the door, about 10 feet away from the door, in line with that door. Next, he's going to lay his nozzle section down in a nice loop, nice and organized. He's going to grab that middle loop or your halfway mark, which should be marked on all of your 1 3/4 sections, and walk backwards. Our goal is to have a nice, even loop on that 50-foot working length. Now, as they call for water, he has a nice 50-foot working length. He can also grab that other loop that's right next to him, and he can end up taking 50 feet into that room. The other thing is while the truck company is forcing this door, this distance allows him to one of two things. Protect that truck company as they're forcing the door. Secondly, it still maintains his situational awareness. His body is never away from your fire building. His eyes are always on that building so he can watch those changes, protect that truck crew, and protect his crew for whatever things he sees. He maintains that situational awareness at all times. Also, as you'll see in that 50-foot length, you have a nice, easy bend, nice, easy to go right into a building. This is only to be used on when you have to take a charged hose line in the front door. It also can be used in a hallway stretch to stretch out that right out the door. Again, have that nice 50-foot working length.
This last evolution today is something we teach at the academy, and it's what some firehouses call the alley stretch. Where the alley stretch is extremely useful is if you could think of this situation. Unfortunately, there's not a hydrant right here, but if you can pictureize, say, engine 3 and engine 8 working together. Engine 8 is first due on a fire, and they catch this plug that's not here, and they straight lay to the south. They get down there, and engine 3's intention is going to be to what? Go to work at engine 8's human. However, when they get here, the chief or someone else says, we need a supply line and an attack line in the alley. So that hydrant's already been taken. So 3's only choice is to drive down the block, whip a UE to catch the plug at that other intersection, and lay back. This is the alley stretch, which also incorporates the loops on the supply side. So engine 3 gets here to go to work on 8's human, but the chief wants them to provide a supply line in the alley. So they are going to do an alley stretch to show how they don't have to go down to the block and whoop a U. In a lot of parts of Denver, the streets aren't big enough to do that. So this alley stretch will demonstrate how you can get a supply line extremely quickly. So this alley represents the alley that the chief needs a supply and fire attack line, say midway down the block. This alley stretch shows how to do it without driving down this street, whipping a UE. You can't see that hydrant there, it's a little bit hidden, but it's there. Instead of driving down the street and whipping a UE and coming back for a straight lay, we'll demonstrate this alley stretch. So your engine comes down the street. They don't have a hydrant there available, so they're not laying any hose out. They head into the alley. Engineer stops the rig. The plug catcher gets out along with the Samson person. She grabs the humid, puts that 50 feet in her arm, then pulls the second loop, not the third loop yet. Now heads down the street this way. Now the Samson man's going to stand there and watch to see how much hose he's going to need. So he sees that he's going to need at least another 50. So he pulls that loop. And he can help by pulling that line down the street a little way. He can tell that she's going to have plenty of hose, so he gets his Samson off. So she still has hose in her arm. Samson man, go ahead. He's got plenty of hose to get to the hydrant at this point. The Samson's applied, and the Samson man at this point can tell the engineer, go, go, go. Go, go, go! At this point, the Samson's applied. The Samson man is going to take advantage of that fourth and last loop, pull it straight back, step on it, and tell the engineer, go, go, go. Go, go, go! The plug catcher can charge the plug at any time because that Samson's in place.
Here we're going to have a probationary firefighter discuss and show proper technique for operating a 2.5-inch attack hose line. We're going to talk about his stance, proper nozzle technique, what he should be doing, what he shouldn't be doing. Here you can see he has his right knee out in front of him. The hose is going to be placed under his right armpit, squeezed against his right hip. He's also going to have the nozzle far enough out in front of him where he can still reach the bail, but not too far out where he can't practice proper nozzle control. You want to go ahead and show some water? As we were saying, we want that nozzle out in front of him. He could still reach the bail. The nozzle's not too far out where that can't happen. He also can practice good nozzle control. What the firefighter shouldn't do is let that put so much hose in front of him where he can't reach the bail, reach up. And also, you want to be able to hold on to that hose, create that vise with your armpit, your thigh. Don't let that hose get too far close to you because then there's no nozzle control. Firefighter now is going to keep that nozzle out in front of him, not let it creep up into his chest.
There you go. That looks good.
He's going to take short, supple steps, driving with that left leg. Keeping that nozzle out in front of him, he can practice good nozzle technique and patterns. Show a couple of those. And that is how you operate a large diameter attack line.
In conclusion of this video, we would out here at the Denver Fire Academy, we would just simply like to thank you for watching this video. Again, please let me emphasize that we're not telling you how to train your individual probationaries. The video's intention was to simply inform you as to the things that we've been teaching them. Once again, thank you so much from the staff at the Rocky Mountain Training Academy. Thank you.